everyone, we're now going into our final section of our virtual familiarisation trip, showcasing the industrial connections itinerary for Plymouth. So during this section we have Charlie and the team from the box, Corinne from Real Ideas talking about the Royal William Yard and Market Hall, and we have Sean from Plymouth Gin talking about all the great things you can do at Plymouth Gin.
Hello and welcome to the box. I hope you enjoy hearing about our industrial heritage offer.
The figureheads also represent the craft of the woodcarver and sculptor, and we're very lucky to have understanding of who carved these sculptures. There are records for the Plymouth carvers, the Dickerson family, who were active from the late 1700s until the mid 1800s, and it's one of the figureheads that were carved by the Dickersons is HMS Topaz behind me, just a bit below me. The stories of the figureheads vary so much, it's hard to pick on one that might be of most interest, but my favourite is the story of the smallest figurehead, HMS Minerva. Minerva was actually carved by the Hellier family in Portsmouth, and they were very happy to submit a design to the Admiralty of a full-size figure, albeit a small figure of 6 foot, because HMS Minerva was a small sloop, not a very large ship at all. However, the Admiralty rejected the design on the basis that the ship was too small to have a full-length figure, and they requested that the Hellier family recarve or submit another design for a bust of Minerva. So the figurehead we have in the collection, we feel and we believe that has never been on board a ship, but we think that the Hellier family got a bit ahead of the game and carved the figurehead in anticipation of winning the contract. Unfortunately, that wasn't the case, and HMS Minerva was then put outside the South Dockyard at Devonport, the South Yard, and became part of an English heritage monument, the King's Hill gazebo. She became extremely weathered in those external conditions, and now has been replaced by a replica carved in the same manner as the original. But we have the original, and we have the original Royal William figurehead, which again stood for many, many years outside the number 1 slip at the South Yard down at Devonport. And you will see on a tour of the South Yard the figurehead of Royal William, fondly known as King Billy, standing there saying goodbye to vessels and greeting ships as they come back from overseas duty. However, the figurehead that you see now on that spot is a fiberglass replica, and we have the original here, welcoming visitors to the box as they come into the entrance.
Hello, I am Louisa Blight. I am the collections manager here at the Box Plymouth. Within the fantastic collections at the box, there are over 2 million things. And here, in one of my favourite spaces, the Port of Plymouth Gallery, we tell some of the most amazing stories about Plymouth and its relationship with the sea. Behind me, you'll see our fishing display, which really shows the integration of the people of Plymouth and the sea itself. For hundreds of years, people have been living around and on and feeding off the sea. This wonderful film you see behind me was developed in collaboration with the fishing community down in the Barbican in Plymouth. If you come on a visit to the city, you will be able to see the beautiful environs of the Barbican and beyond. The waterfront is a vibrant visitor destination in its own right, but here at the box, you can see some items on display that really help to bring that to life. For instance, did you know that without massive engineering feats like the building of Smeaton's Tower and the lighthouses that went before it, the Sound as we know it today would not be the safe harbour that it is. There are over 600 wrecks that lie beneath the waters of the Sound, and one of those, here at the box, the Catwater wreck, that was the first registered wreck in the United Kingdom. As well as the lighthouses, there is a fantastic structure out in Plymouth Sound called the Breakwater. It was a wonderful feat of engineering in its own right, and at the time, in the 1830s and 40s when it was constructed, it was called the Great National Undertaking. Led by the Royal Navy, its purpose was to create a safe natural harbour for all vessels, particularly military vessels of course, but for all vessels who needed to operate in Plymouth Sound.
Thank you for listening, and I hope you've enjoyed looking at the box. Please put your questions in the chat box and I will answer them during the Q&A.
Hi, my name's Corinne. I work for Real Ideas organisation, and I'm here today at our building Ocean Studios, which is in the Royal William Yard. At Real Ideas organisation, our goal is to create positive social change, and there's a lot of ways that we do that, but one of those is we take on old buildings and try to give them a new purpose and a new lease of life. One of those buildings is Ocean Studios. The Royal William Yard used to be called the Royal William Victualling Yard, so here they used to make all of the provisions for the Royal Navy. This building specifically was the factory cooperage, so there were 100 coopers that used to work here and make all of the barrels and kegs for the Royal Navy. The Royal William Yard is surrounded by sea, so you've got the Plymouth Sound and the River Tamar. You can take from the yard, you can take a walk up to Devil's Point where you can look out over Drake's Island, and beyond that you can see Mount Batten. You can then follow the Southwest Coastal Path around, which takes you down our steps back into the yard, and there you can see over to Cornwall, into Mount Edgecombe. It's even possible to take a small ferry that's about 5 minutes that takes you over to Cornwall, which is a really nice thing to do. The yard is full of restaurants and bars. There'll be a cinema opening here soon, so there's plenty to do. There's a large lawn to sit on. But at Ocean Studios, what we have is we've created a creative hub for the city. So we have 32 artist studios here. We have resident artists. We also get artists that come in to run workshops, hold Q&As. We have fully equipped artist studios. So we've got the pottery at Ocean Studios. So visitors here can come and have a go at throwing clay. So you can sit and spin and make bowls. Our potter will then pop them in the kiln and you can take home your fired creations with you. We also have a fully equipped print studio. Again, we've got plenty of workshops and classes that you can have a go at screen printing, lino cut prints, we've got letterpress, so there's plenty you can do there. We've got photographic studios, a dark room. We also just have life drawing classes, so some days you might come and sit in our cafe on site and there'll be life drawing classes you could have a go at yourself. If you're not interested, you could just watch the experts doing it. We've got a retail space on site, so we sell local handmade goods from our artists as well as other local creators. We also sell lots of artwork, so you can take something away with you. As well as that, we have this large event space, which we have a full events programme which we update on our website. We run lots of things from live music nights to a full-blown light festival, which generally happens once a year, where we invite light artists from across the world to come and create weird and wonderful light installations which visitors can come and enjoy in November. So Illuminate is a large light festival that we hold here in the Royal William Yard. So Real Ideas Organisation, along with our partners, take artists from across the world who come and they create amazing light installations. They are held, as I said, throughout the yard. So the yard is just lit up for a week. Keep an eye out because there will probably be another light festival coming soon. Alongside that, we have things like open air cinemas which happen on the lawn. There's loads of events that happen throughout the year in the yard, as well as regular farmers markets, and so there's a huge programme of events to keep an eye out for. There's plenty of sewing workshops that take place here, so we have regular sewing courses. You can do longer courses as well as one-day courses. You could come and learn how to make a pair of trousers or arm knit a massive blanket. There's plenty, whether you've got one day, half a day or 6 weeks, there's plenty to get involved with. So the yard itself has got lots to offer, from lots of chain restaurants. There's plenty of small independent run businesses. There's Fashion ID, which is a clothing brand. We've got a small independent wine and cheese shop, and amazing hairdressers, as well as lots of bigger bars and restaurants here. We also have a really cool on-site craft brewery here in the yard. They're called Steel Brew Co. So you can go in and watch them brewing their own beer and lager, which is really nice. The Royal William Yard was designed by architect Sir John Rennie in 1825, and it's now the largest collection of Grade 1 listed buildings in Europe, and it pretty much remains, the exterior pretty much remains unaltered, so it's a really huge industrial monument. So the next building I want to bring to you is the Market Hall. It's our new building. It's something we've been working on for quite a few years now. We're really excited to show this to you. So when the Market Hall was originally built, it comprised of two large areas with a big clock tower in the middle. Sadly, in the Second World War, when Plymouth was pretty devastated, one of those large buildings was completely destroyed by a bomb, but the other building and the clock tower still remain. During the Cold War era in the 1950s, the Military of Defence built a wall to protect themselves, and the Market Hall was within that wall, so it became inaccessible to the public, and it actually ended up becoming their main paint store. Luckily, we now have access to it and have redeveloped it. There's a real mix of the old building with a new extension built on the side, so you can see a lot of the old building still. You can still see some of the panes of glass that were cracked during the war. They're still there. What we have added to the Market Hall is a huge 15-metre immersive dome. So it's 15 metres of really cool cutting-edge technology. What you'll get the chance to do is come in. It's a 210-degree dome, so you may have visited a planetarium, but this actually goes further around you. It goes right to the floor. Inside there's no fixed seating. You'll have comfy seats like bean bags that you'll be able to come in, lay back, and you'll be immersed in it's sort of the equivalent of AR or VR, except you don't need to wear headsets. It's the first of its kind in Europe, so it's really something special for us to have, and we're really excited that it's in Plymouth. We will have a huge range of different artists and people will be working with to create content for the Dome. There'll be plenty of different things you can come and view. You can have a look at our programme. If you visit www.realideas.org and visit our What's On page, you'll be able to pick the content that really excites you and come and have a visit and see our Dome. And whilst you're here, you can see the old building. We now have event spaces there, a cafe, a really lovely bar, again, more retail space. There's plenty for you to enjoy, but it's something that you wouldn't be able to see anywhere else in Europe. So if you've got any questions about the Royal William Yard or Market Hall, if you can pop them in the chat for the live Q&A that's next, and I'll be happy to answer all of those for you.
Hello and welcome to Plymouth Gin. My name is Sean Harrison and I'm the Master Distiller for Plymouth Gin. Plymouth Gin has been on this site for over 200 years and every single drop of Plymouth Gin that's ever been made has been made in this distillery. Where we're standing at the moment is the oldest part of the distillery and the building is over 500 years old. The still house, where the stills are contained, is well over 200 years old. Plymouth Gin has been made on this site for over 200 years and every drop of Plymouth Gin that's made today is made in this distillery. Plymouth Gin has been made on this site for over 200 years and every single drop of Plymouth Gin is made in this distillery. Why here? Well, the location is ideal for many different reasons. One, we're on the harbour in the old part of Plymouth, so you could bring in your botanicals and your alcohol to make the gin, and then once you've made the gin, you can put it on a boat and export it. We have a very good natural water source that comes from Dartmoor. Dartmoor is peat on granite and makes really soft water. So the water that we use in the distillation process is very soft. And because of the port, we get very good access to all the botanicals or the ingredients we use to flavour the gin. Historically, Plymouth Gin has always had a good relationship with the Royal Navy, and Plymouth Gin, the city, is geographically ideally placed for trading with the world. And those trade routes enabled the Royal Navy to take Plymouth Gin to many different places around the world. The Royal Navy used to take Plymouth Gin to sea at 57% ABV. And why 57%? It's all to do with how they would prove there is alcohol in the product they are buying. Historically, this was done with gunpowder. If you tip the liquid onto gunpowder and the gunpowder still ignited, then it proved that the alcohol content of that liquid was 57% or above. And this was before they worked out how to calculate ABV of different spirits. So gunpowder was the only way to prove that your product had alcohol in it. The distillery itself, the buildings, have a really fascinating history. The bit where I'm standing at the moment is the oldest part of the building, and it's over 500 years old. And it was built by a merchant as a house. 500 years ago, it was quite dangerous to drink water. So each of the grand houses used to have a brewery on the back. And that brewery became what is now our still house. As Plymouth Gin became more successful, the buildings developed and got bigger. And now we have a very large building that has been constructed in 4 different sections over about 200 years. Within the buildings, we've got the distillery itself and a visitor centre and a bar, which is where I am now, and a restaurant. And that means as a visitor centre, we can offer people many different ways of visiting the distillery. As a visitor centre, we offer 3 different styles of tour. We offer what we call the standard tour, which is a 45-minute come into the distillery, have a look around, a bit of explanation about where gin comes from, an explanation of how we make it, a tasting of the different products we make, and then back up into the bar for a free gin and tonic. The next tour is a little bit more in depth. So we offer the visitor the ability to learn a little bit more about the history, spend a bit more time learning about the production, a little bit more time trying different gins, and then come back up into the bar for a gin and tonic. And then we have what we call the Master Distiller's Tour. This tour you spend about 2 to 2.5 hours in the distillery. We have a much more in-depth session on the history of the building, the history of gin, the production methods, and a more in-depth tasting of many different gins. And then you get a chance to make your own bottle of gin and take that away with you. And of course, you can come up to the bar and have a free gin and tonic. And we are currently devising a fourth tour, which will involve me, a bit more of sort of involvement in how we make the gin. And like all tours, it'll end up with a free gin and tonic in the bar. If you'd like to book a tour of the distillery, we have 3 different ways you can do it. You can go online to www.plymouthgin.com. You can pick up the phone and dial 01752 665 292. Or if you're walking past, you can just drop in and book a tour, or if the tour is available, you can take it then. If you have any questions or would like any further information, then please ask in the comments box and we'll try and answer them in the live Q&A session.
Thank you for those great presentations focusing on Plymouth's industrial connections. I'm now joined with Charlie from The Box, Becky from Plymouth Gin and Corinne from Real Ideals, talking about Royal William Yard and the Market Hall. Hello ladies.
Hi.
Hi.
Thank you for joining us this afternoon. We have had some questions in from some tour operators who are watching today. So over to you first, Becky, if that's all right. We were hearing a lot about the tours on offer at Plymouth Gin, which all sound fantastic. And Sean touched on a new 4th tour. I wondered if you could expand on that a little bit for us, please.
Yeah, of course I can. So the 4th tour is very exciting. We're really excited to launch it. It's going to be a VIP tour. So with this tour, we are looking at doing a lot more with Sean, our master distiller, because at present he doesn't actually participate in the tours. So with the VIP tour that we're introducing, we're looking at having pre-lunch cocktails up Smeaton's Tower with Sean. We're also looking at a leisurely walk back to the distillery while touching on Plymouth Gin's history. We're looking at a really nice lunch with Barbican Kitchen, as well as distilling your own gin and drinks or coffees, up to you, in our refectory bar. So it's quite an exciting one. Going to be a longer tour as well. So yeah, we're really excited to be launching that one.
Sounds perfect. Sounds very exclusive and very unique opportunity there for operators or visitors to the city.
Yes, it is quite a unique one, and for that reason, the capacity for that tour isn't perhaps as large as our other tours. So for this one, we are looking at a max capacity of 6 people, which is why it is slightly more of a VIP tour in that respect.
Perfect. Thank you. Sounds great. Thanks, Becky. Charlie, we've heard quite a bit from The Box today. Fantastic. We're a new culture attraction opening in Plymouth. We're really excited about that. Is there anything forthcoming that you can share with us in terms of programme of events, shows coming up? Sorry to put you on the spot, but I don't know if there's something coming in the future for operators that would be that you'd be able to share with us today.
Yes, so one of the things coming up for 2022 is British Art Show. We're one of the venues that have been chosen for British Art Show next year. Dates still to be confirmed 100%, but there's definitely something exciting that is coming to Plymouth. There will be changes to our programme, our contemporary art programme, as well as our other temporary programmes, but at the moment things are still in those kind of late planning stages, so unfortunately I can't share much more.
That's fine. So watch this space very much so with The Box
Yes.
of what's coming up. Thank you, Charlie. Corinne, thank you for your presentation on the Royal William Yard. Really informative. Obviously, it's one of our key destinations for tours and groups coming into Plymouth. It's a key sort of leisure destination to the city. What would you suggest in terms of the travel trade and for tour operators, what they could see and do when they actually come to and visit the Royal William Yard? What sort of top things? Obviously a trip to Ocean Studios, but yeah, if you could expand on that for me, that would be fantastic.
Yeah, definitely. So yes, I would absolutely recommend a trip to Ocean Studios. Obviously we have a cafe on site and an exhibition space, which is kind of constantly changing. So there's plenty of artwork on display for people to come and take a look at. There's a huge events program, not just in Ocean Studios, Sorry, obviously my dog's chosen this moment to bark. Not just in Ocean Studios, but across the Royal William Yard. Sort of, it depends what season of the year you come. In the summer, there's loads of events out on the lawn, from open air cinemas, barbecue kind of events. There's you can take historical walking tours around the yard. And within our space, we've got lots of live music events. So there's loads going on. I would highly recommend someone come and take maybe a pottery class at Ocean Studios. There's loads for people to do. You couldn't fill it all in one day.
Perfect, thanks. Thank you, Corinne. Becky, back to you, and let's talk gins. I think that's absolutely key, and I think we're coming to the end of the fam trip, and very much a gin's probably on the cards for a lot of people at the moment. Could you expand on the sort of gins that are on offer at Plymouth Gin, please?
Yeah, of course I can. So at present, we've got our original strength gin. That's the gin that you'll find in all of the supermarkets. It's our original recipe that we've been making since 1793. That gin we make using 7 botanicals, and the ABV is 41.2%. So still a little bit higher than the other gins, but certainly not as high an ABV as our Navy strength gin, which I have to say is my personal favourite. So we've got the Navy strength gin, which is actually 57% ABV. So it's pretty potent stuff. Again, it's made with the same 7 botanicals that we use in our original strength, but we do have the higher alcohol content, because if we refer back to the 1800s, when the British Royal Navy were taking our gin on board ships, the gin itself, it did have to be a flammable liquid because it was being stored alongside the gunpowder. So if the liquid were to spill onto the gunpowder at the original strength of 41.2%, it would actually make the gunpowder redundant. It would render it useless. But very conveniently, at 57%, that gin is now a flammable liquid. So if that spills onto the gunpowder, it doesn't actually matter. They can still use the gunpowder. They can still ignite it. So any excuse, but it's definitely a good one. Then we've also got our sloe gin. Most people associate sloe gin with a winter drink. It's actually amazing in the summer all year round. So yeah, don't just have it in winter. Our sloe gin's 26%, so it is technically a liqueur. Personally, I like it neat, but it does work wonderfully in cocktails, or alternatively with bitter lemon or a fever tree lemon tonic. Then we've got our fruit cup. Now, fruit cup is absolutely sensational. Again, people think this is more of a summer drink, but it actually works all year round. It's a fabulous winter drink as well. Fruit cup, don't think gin, you're thinking something, it's more like a punch style drink. So it's made using our gin base, but then you've also got a few fruit liqueurs added to it. Without naming a competitor product, there is another fruit cup on the market that rhymes with Jims, and everyone likes the Jims and lemonade in the summer. Don't bother, get our fruit cup, it's even tastier, but it also works really well as a mulled drink in winter. And then we've also got our special edition gin called Mr. King's Gin. Now, Mr. King's Gin is actually a different recipe to the other 4. It only uses 2 botanicals, and it's a recreation of an old recipe made by a man called Mr. King. And that is the first in a series of craft gins that we will be releasing. But unfortunately, I can't say any more on that matter. You will have to wait and see what we've got in the pipeline, but it won't be the first special edition gin that we do release.
Thank you. Thank you, Becky. And keeping on the topic of gins and alcohol, I think, back to you, Charlie, at the box. We obviously know you've got a great food and drink offering at the box. And I'm hearing stories about these wonderful cocktails coming up in line with the figurehead. So I wonder if you could talk us through a little bit about what groups and tours could expect when they visit the box in terms of, using it also as a stop off for food and drink as part of their tour.
Yes, we don't have your usual cafe offer at the box. If any of you watch the programme Great British menu. You will see our executive head chef, Nat Talents, on there, and the Southwest episodes, I believe, are streaming in May. So we do really offer something quite special at the box with regards to our food. As I said, it isn't your normal offer. We also have cocktails named after our figureheads. My personal favourite is the Kolkata Cooler, which is way too tasty and too easy to drink, unfortunately. But yes, it's a really special offer, and it's open obviously during the day, and then once we're allowed to open as well, it will be open in some of the evenings during the week, so you'll be able to have dinner under the figureheads with your cocktail.
Fantastic. Exciting times ahead, thank you. Corinne, talking of that, when the new attractions coming online in Plymouth, the Market Hall coming very soon, very excited to hear about beanbags as the sort of sitting option there. So could you tell us a bit more about the Dome and sort of capacities, and maybe how the group's tour operators can book that product as well?
Yeah, definitely. So the capacity is 120 people. So we're currently purchasing 120 beanbags at the moment. There will be alternative seating available for anybody that needs it. But the idea is that as much as you can, you're lying back so that you can make the most of the 210-degree dome. You know, so it's all around you. So as much as you can be lying back, you can really appreciate the full extent of the experience. We will have group bookings available. As we haven't opened yet, I can't give you too much information about that. We will be opening in a matter of months, so kind of keep an eye out and have a look at our What's On page for all of the programmes available. But there will be group bookings available for the Dome. It's really exciting. We can't wait to get it open and finally let people in. It's been a long time coming.
Perfect, thank you. We're all looking forward to that as well. Becky, back to you just quickly in terms of your tours that you offer at Plymouth Gin. Obviously there's 4 of them. If the travel trade or groups don't have time to book an actual tour for Plymouth Gin, can they still come in, see some of the space, maybe go up to the refectory bar, have a gin and tonic, and visit your visitor centre as well? Is that possible?
Yeah, absolutely. So in terms of going around the distillery, that does have to be a guided tour because we are a working distillery. So it's not strictly speaking a museum. You are actually looking at a working distillery. So they do have to be guided. But the lovely thing about our distillery is that the moment you enter it, the view is straight into the distillery, as we have a huge glass window in the distillery. So you are still able to see directly into where the gin itself is being made. On the ground floor, we do have the shop area, so you can purchase any of our products from the shop. You don't have to be on a tour to do that. There's also some lovely history in the shop as well. And if you want to sample our products, we have the most incredible cocktail bar on site called the Refectory, and you're more than welcome to come up there for a cocktail or two. And the brilliant thing is that not only are the tour guides trained on the tours, but I have actually trained up all of my team, the bartenders, on the tours as well. So if you do have any questions or you want any information you might have received on the tour but you don't have time to do it, just ask away. Everyone is more than happy to share their knowledge and love of Plymouth Gin and the amazing building.
Thank you. Thank you very much, ladies. I think we'll end it there on cocktails at Plymouth Gin. Great way to end any virtual fan visit to the city. I'd like to thank you for your time today. And if you want to ask the ladies any more questions, they are available through the virtual booths if you want to drop any questions there. But thank you for your time today, ladies.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. This now brings our Atlantic Adventures Collection virtual fan visit to a close, and I would like to thank you all for taking the time to be with us today, and we hope we have given you some new ideas for future tours or packages for Plymouth and Liverpool. Please do continue to network and visit our virtual booths if you have any more questions for our attractions. This event platform will be open for the next 24 hours. After the event, we'll also send out the 3 itineraries to you all for your reference as well. But again, we'd just like to thank you for your time today, and we look forward to welcoming you all to Plymouth and Liverpool soon. Take care. Goodbye.
Thank you.